back then I was able to say, you know, Africa had 54 different countries, different culture, different traditions.
100.
And Ghana has been identified as a country with 0 cases of Ebola. It has always been friendly to Black Americans and people returning home. I cited right of abode. There was not year of return or anything in that nature at the time, so I cited right of abode, which was the original kind of year of return thing that goes back.
Hey yo, so this is Eugene from Kenya again. So there's this interesting video that I want to show you, but just before that, let me tell you this. If you're just a person who wants to come to Africa, maybe you want to retire, maybe you have spent your entire lifetime in USA and you want to come back to the you want to come back to Africa, this is the best chance for you. And I'll give you a reason as to why. You can only not come just for vacation, but you can also come to do a business and thrive in everything that you want to do. So this video is to show you that there are a lot of opportunities of African Americans in Africa in what they can do, this including entrepreneurship and any other thing that they may want to do. So kindly watch this video and I'll give you additional reasons as to why there are a lot of opportunities for Africans. You see, these videos that I'm creating for you are just to encourage you. These videos that I'm showing you are just to encourage you, and I'm adding value to them by giving you the reasons as to why there are a lot of opportunities for you in Africa. So let's watch the video and then I'll tell you the reasons as to why there are a lot of opportunities for African Americans in Africa. So kindly, let's watch the video.
Greatness.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about you, your name, where you came from, how long you been in Ghana, all of that good stuff.
Okay. My name is Rashad McCrory. I'm from Harlem, New York City.
Harlem? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. I'm what people may call a foundational Black American. I'm born and raised in New York City. My parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents have all been traced back to South Carolina. As of yet, I have not done any DNA tests. You know, maybe one day I'll do it. But I'm Black American, born and raised in the United States. 5 generations from the United States to the 1800s we can trace. And I've been living in Ghana 3 years now. Okay,
so tell us, since you've been born and raised, foundation, 5 generations, American, what made you come to Ghana?
I've always been raised to appreciate Mother Africa, to appreciate Black empowerment. My father, at the age of 5 years old, started teaching me about the great kings and queens of Africa. Started teaching me about ancient Kemet, which is modern day Egypt, Ptah-hotep, the 7 books of wise instructions at a young age. I shared a story how I remember my favorite baseball team won the championship when I was 6 years old. Oh wow. We lived in our new apartment, but I remember my lessons starting in our old apartment. Okay. That's how I know that I was at least 5 years old, you know, at the, you know, the latest. Yeah. At the latest. So my father always taught me about honoring the ancestors. Some people call it ancestral worship. Some people call it honoring the ancestors.
So which one do you do?
Both. To me, it's to me, I don't really, I don't really, you know, I don't really differentiate between the two, but a lot of people do. So for the people who differentiate, you know, you could choose which one you like the best. So, you know, I was 5 years old, 6 years old, pouring libations, setting out food for ancestors. Yeah, being in Black America. My father and my mother, they met in New York City, but they are both from South Carolina. Okay. They met in New York City in 1965 during the later years of the Harlem Renaissance. Okay. So my father was born and raised Christian, but when he moved to Harlem, he started listening to Malcolm X, speakers like Ivan Van Sertima, going to places like 145th and Convent Avenue for some of my elders who know those places, 125th Street in Harlem. And then that's when he started learning about Black empowerment, learning to appreciate Africa, that Africa is not what you see on television. Yeah, 100%. It's places with livelihood. He used to tell me about people who used to go to Africa and disappear. Not disappear because they was kidnapped, disappear because they went there and they was like, I ain't coming back. I like that. As early as the 60s and 70s. Okay. So I always had a real passion for Africa as a continent, let alone individual countries within the continent.
Okay, I'm so intrigued. We need to like circle back to pouring libation when you were like 5 years old. What was that like for you? I guess, was it like a norm, as in this is what we do in our home, or did you really at that time had a proper understanding of what it was that you were doing?
My father gave me a proper understanding of what I was doing. He was talking about the ancestors, the people who deceased, the unseen spirit. I'm 5 years old. I used to be scared of horror movies back then, but I used to think of it like my imaginary friends, my secret protectors. I'm a child with an imagination. So when my father used to say, okay, now you set a little bit outside, a little plate of food outside for the ancestors, we used to set a little plate outside, and my mom used to come later and put it back in the pots and things like that.
Okay.
But generally speaking, when he used to play the music for me, I was a kid, I used to have, for Americans out there, remember the little Tyco radios, and children, Tyco had like motorcycles, bicycles for children, things like that, little radios with microphones,
Oh, wow.
So I used to have the little Tyco speaker, and I used to have the tape deck, and I used to play my father music. He used to have books. My father was a real. I'll send you some, maybe if I can, maybe I'll send you some B-rolls on my father in his later life.
That'd be amazing, 100%.
Yeah.
So now let's fast forward. At what age, or I don't know if you want to say your age, but you've come back to Ghana like how many years after, and you've come for your first time. What was that experience like?
My first trip was 2015. I'm 43 years old.
Right.
I mean, I'm cool with that. I was 35 years old, I believe. I think I was 35, maybe 34, depending on my birthday.
Right.
So 2015, my first trip to the African continent was Ghana. It was supposed to be Cameroon. However, the Ebola outbreak of 2014 happened, so I came with the school. They wanted to cancel the entire trip to Cameroon, to all of Africa, to all of Africa. So the course was called the Cross Culture course. Hence my company, Africa Cross Culture. I just named it after the course that took me to my first trip to Africa. And they said, well, since Cameroon has Ebola, they wanted to take out all of the African countries. They was like, how about South Korea? How about El Salvador? How about Jamaica? Jamaica was a Caribbean island, but we still said no. How about Montana, to learn about Native Americans? Montana is a state in the United States. And at that time, I was one of the first people to say, I pulled one of my professors to the side and I said, well, Africa is 54 different countries.
Yep.
Different traditions, culture, history. Now it's kind of known. Now I get tired of people saying Africa is 54 countries. Like, come on, when somebody's saying Africa, and when somebody's speaking about a particular country.
Yes, exactly.
Now it's not 3 years ago when you did have to differentiate.
100%.
Yeah. So, but back then I was able to say, Africa had 54 different countries, different culture, different traditions.
100.
And Ghana has been identified as a country with 0 cases of Ebola. It has always been friendly to Black Americans and people returning home. I cited right of abode. There was not year of return or anything in that nature at the time, so I cited right of abode, which was the original kind of year of return thing that goes back, decades, welcoming Black Americans back home. So after signing like 1 million non-liability waiver forms, they allowed us to come to Ghana.
And what was that like?
Amazing. It was just amazing. For the first time, I was able to see Black ownership, Black leadership, Black entrepreneurship, Black vocational for the first time.
Wow.
Again, I'm from Harlem, New York, and it's only gotten worse since, as the years have gone by. When I go outside my Harlem apartment, which I still have, I see the Chinese stores owned by the Chinese. I see the 99-cent stores owned by the Indians, like the Indians from India. White people own the supermarkets. Latinos and
So welcome back. So we've watched the video and we've learned from it. Now I want to add a value to the video, because just watching the video won't bring you justice. So you who is in USA right now, who is in UK, who is in Canada right now, it's about that time you take opportunity to come and grab your part in making Africa develop. So you are just a person who is out there and you want to come to Africa and you're wondering, what can I do if I come to Africa? Well, I have a couple of suggestions of you which you can try to do, and regardless of which part of Africa, you can thrive with them. And these ideas are especially for people who are just settling in Africa and they don't know what they can do with their time. Maybe they are trying to catch up with people in the meantime, but they don't know the exact thing they can do. Well, I took some time and did some research and written for you some notes, and the reason that's why I'm writing these notes, I don't want to talk much, I want to be precise and I want it to be to the point. So the first thing that you can do, you as a visitor or you as an African American who is coming back home and don't know what to do. So I wrote it. One, it's business and entrepreneurship. One, this is something that works for everyone who comes to Africa. There are a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of people who want to buy things from you. We can buy your skills, you as a person when you come to Africa. We can buy anything that you're trying to do to us, as long as it brings development in Africa. We can buy it from you. So business and entrepreneurship is one of the things that most of our visitors come to do in Africa. So when you have a skill and you want to venture in it, Africa is the best place to come and do your business. Also, education and academia. Opportunities exist for teaching, research, and academic collaborations with universities and educational institutes across Africa. Yes, you can come to Africa and approach any educational institution and tell them that I can do this and this and this, so why can't we partner with you to make our youths, to make our African students do this and create development opportunities for young people in Africa. That's the second thing you can do. It's actually working because Africa, its driving force is in the youth. So if you come to Africa, that's one thing you can also do. Number 3, you can partner with non-profit and NGOs. Engage in humanitarian and development work by partnering with local non-profits and NGOs. There are many opportunities to contribute to. It can be healthcare, it can be education, it can be women's empowerment and community development. So maybe you're a woman and you coming to Africa, you're a visitor here, and you're wondering, what can I do with big part of my time? Maybe you have the money, but you don't know what to do in the meantime. These are activities that you can engage in. Includes providing healthcare, maybe providing support, community development. You can try help community development by ensuring that the environment that you are is clean, things like social work, you understand? Yeah, these are things that you can do and can make you happy when coming to serve in your motherland as an African American, or just any visitor who want to retire in Africa and want to do something great with it. The third thing is cultural exchange and arts. So participate in cultural exchange programs, arts initiatives, or create industries like music, film, and fashion, which can help bridge cultural gaps and promote African heritage. So this is good for especially African Americans or any visitor who want to venture in business like films and fashions and music. You can bring your music to Africa. It can be hip hop, it can be R&B, it can be jazz, because they also have an origin with Africa. So if you bring them to Africa, it's easier for us to vibe with it and create opportunities for the youngster. We have a lot of talented youths in Africa, regardless of which country. We have a lot. So if you bring such kind of studios for fashions, music, arts, drawing, anything that related to arts, African youths are gonna venture into it, and trust me, you're gonna help a lot of youths in Africa who need employment. Okay, so let's continue. The fourth thing you can do is real estate and property investment. So you're just a person who want to invest in Africa and maybe get some money, maybe back in the United States, maybe back in India, maybe back in United Kingdom, maybe back in Canada. There are a lot of competition, and you want somewhere where you can thrive without a lot of competition. Because one, we Africans, we haven't so much invested into real estate and business related. So if you come, invest in real estate, including residential and commercial properties, which can be profitable venture in rapidly developing urban areas. Yes, there are a lot of developing urban areas in Africa. Like in Kenya, we have Konza City. It's just a city which is upcoming, then very soon it will be competing with other cities in Africa. So you can come in such kind of places and invest in. You can create real estates there where people can come and reside, because it's just developing. So it means that there are there are not yet a lot of people who have gone there. So if you become one of the first people to go there, you can really invest in real estates where people can stay and do their businesses. So I tell you to come, because there are a lot of opportunities for you. The fourth one, it's tourism and hospitality. So explore opportunities in the growing tourism and hospitality sector, such as opening guest house, such as starting a tour company or investing in ecotourism initiatives. Actually, there are a lot of opportunities around tourism. You can have your guest house. You can just open a guest house where visitors can come. Also, this is a tip that I'll give you. Maybe you are an African American, but you're within Africa already. You can create a guest house for people who you know who are outside Africa, that they can come. You know, that can be a business for you. Okay, so that's a niche that you can decide to thrive in. Also, we have technology and innovations. Contribute to tech ecosystem by participating in tech hubs, incubators, or launching tech startups. Many African cities are emerging as tech hubs. So if you're a technocrat or you have a skill in something in science, and you know, this is the best place for you. You can try experiment a lot of things which can contribute to development in Africa. It can be a source of energy that you want to invest in. You can bring your technocrats, you can bring your people who can work with Africa, and this can be a development, and this can be a new journey for you. Africa is the new home. We have our laboratories. You can bring your technology with us and build something in Africa which has never been seen. Just imagine you're returning it to your motherland. The last point, just before I say the last point, I want to do a special shout out to my people from the United States, my people from the United Kingdom, to my people from Canada, to my people from India. I was surprised to hear that I have a fan from India. Salute my fan from India. I love you. So if you want to support my channel, or you want to communicate with me, or you want to inquire something, I'll leave my email on the description below, so maybe you can reach out to me. The last point is volunteer and social impact. So you can join volunteer programs or launch social impacts initiative to address pressing issues such as education, healthcare, or environment conservation. So maybe you had already worked, you have your money, and you just need to come back home to Africa. Volunteering in social sectors, ensuring our environment is clean, helping street children, you know, opening homes for people who are homeless, the homes for the poor. These are social works that you can invest in, and this can make you happy because you are returning back to your motherland. And so guys, this is Eugene from Kenya, and I highly appreciate your time watching this video. I hope you made it to the end. If you made it to the end watching this video, I salute you. So guys, let's meet on the other video. Of course, it's much love from Eugene from Kenya. See you in my next video. Salute.